Hi, my name is Randy Agert, and this is a brief introduction to pragmatics. Implicature, how we mean more than we say. This video is a follow-up to a previous video that I did on the cooperative principle. And in that video, I pointed out that we always communicate more than we say. So if somebody says X, we understand from that X and something more. That something more is what we call an implicature. In that previous video, I introduced this example where a teacher is talking to a student. The teacher says, "You answered some questions wrong," and the student then infers from this that he answered some questions right. This is just such an obvious inference that we usually don't even think about it. However, it leads to a logical paradox. The paradox goes something like this. So if somebody says to you, "You answered all of the questions wrong," that statement entails that you answered some of the questions wrong. So it goes like this. Well, clearly, if you answered all of the questions wrong, if we were to pick out some of those questions, we would see that you answered those questions wrong, meaning you answered some of the questions wrong. But from B, as we've just seen, if somebody says you answered some of the questions wrong, well, then we're going to understand that to mean that you did not answer all of the questions wrong. But of course, C contradicts A, leading to our paradox. That paradox is diffused fairly easily, though, once we recognize something pretty simple, which is that C is not entailed by B. It doesn't follow from B automatically. It's implied by it. It's inferred from it. In pragmatics, we say that C was implicated by uttering B, or that C is an implicature of uttering B. And notice that in this paradox, B is never actually uttered, only A is uttered. And that's an important distinction in pragmatics. And all of this kind of follows from the cooperative principle that we talked about in the previous video. The idea is that if the teacher is being cooperative, then the teacher is implicating that the student got some of the questions right. It goes like this. The teacher knew whether or not the student answered all of the questions wrong. She's looked at the quiz. And so the teacher, knowing whether or not the student answered all of them wrong, if she knew that he had answered all of them wrong, she should have said so. But she did not say so, and therefore the student can safely infer, that he had answered some of the questions right, or put another way, the teacher implicated that he answered some questions right.